Good day, Ma'am Naomi Dignitas. I am Chundal Rose T. Palma, and today I will be reporting about the three phases of aphasia recovery. But before that, let us first have the definition of aphasia. So, what is aphasia? Aphasia is a language disorder resulting from damaged brain areas that subserve the formulation and understanding of language as its components. This is according to Helm Books and Albert 2004. It impairs all aspects of communication. It's usually caused by damage to the brain, often due to stroke, traumatic brain injury, or neurological conditions. People with aphasia may have difficulty speaking, understanding, reading, writing, or a combination of these. There are various types of aphasia, ranging from mild to severe, and the specific symptoms can vary based on the area of the brain affected. Someone with aphasia might struggle to find the right words or use incorrect words when speaking. For example, they might try to say, I'm going to the store, but instead say something like, I'm going to my house is big, I have three cars, my the bird is flying, like that. So, they might also have trouble forming coherent sentences or speaking in a way that others can easily understand. So now, let us proceed to the three phases of aphasia recovery. So, the first phase of aphasia recovery is the acute phase. It refers to the initial period following the onset of aphasia, typically in the first few weeks or months. During this phase, individuals often undergo acute medical care, which might involve stabilizing their condition, understanding the extent of language impairment, and initiating therapies or interventions to support communication and language rehabilitation. For example, they might be unable to speak or understand speech right after the stroke or any other injury. Doctors would assess the severity of their aphasia and begin initial treatments, such as speech therapy exercises or language training, to start the recovery process and help regain language skills as early as possible. The second one is the lesion phase. It refers to the period following the acute phase. During this phase, therapies and interventions continue as the brain starts to reorganize and adapt to compensate for the damaged areas. Improvement in language abilities often occurs gradually during this phase as the brain heals and rewires itself to some extent. For instance, someone who initially struggled to speak or understand speech might begin to show gradual improvements in their language abilities. During this phase, they could undergo regular speech therapy sessions aimed at retaining language skills and witnessing incremental progress as the brain heals and adapts to support language functions. The last phase is called the late phase. This phase of aphasia recovery occurs after the acute and lesion phase. It is a more extended period, often spanning 2 years. During this phase, progress might be slower, but with consistent therapy, strategies, and ongoing support, individuals can still experience improvements in their language abilities and communication skills. It is at a slower rate compared to the earlier phases. For example, someone who had a stroke might still face challenges in finding words or constructing sentences, but could make gradual progress through ongoing therapy sessions and consistent practice. During this phase, they might develop alternative communication strategies or find ways to compensate for persistent language difficulties while continuing to strive for improvement in their communication skills. To sum up, the three phases of aphasia recovery, spanning from the immediate aftermath of a stroke or injury to an extended period of ongoing therapy, mark crucial stages in the journey toward regaining language abilities. The acute phase demands swift medical attention, while the lesion phase witnesses the brain's healing and gradual improvements. And the late phase underscores the importance of persistent effort and ongoing therapy in achieving continued progress and better communication skills. Understanding and addressing each phase significantly impact the effectiveness of interventions and support throughout the recovery process. And that ends my report for today. I hope, classmates, that you have learned something from our discussion. May God bless us all.